Hello, my name is Judith Estrada Garcia, and I will be presenting Project Gouache, reproduction of Diego Rivera's art. This painting by Diego Rivera, called The Flower Vendor, or La Florera Descansando, is an oil painting of a young Mexican brown-skinned woman kneeling down, preparing to carry a very large basket of white and yellow lilies to market. It is currently in the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art in San Francisco. In the late 1920s, Diego Rivera painted Man at the Crossroads as a commission from John D. Rockefeller III. It depicted man's new relationship to man, that is, family and work relations, civic life, and more importantly, ethical religious relationships. It was painted in the technique of fresco on wall-mounted panels, 4.85 by 11.45 meters. Later, the mural was called detestable and torn down. Man at the Crossroads. The image displays the main central segment of the mural, a blonde-haired Caucasian man. The man's body type is muscular. He's dressed in a dirty yellow coat and overalls. His body and head exhibit an outward appearance of determination. However, his forehead discloses uncertainty. He stands erect and in command, behind a control panel. His large hands are covered with black gloves. His right hand is holding gears. His left hand lays relaxed on the control panel. In front of the man, a large, dirty, ungloved right hand is shown holding a large white sphere with 5 navigational meters used to control the universe. On the right side of the mural, the controversial image of Lenin is displayed. A group of men standing next to each other from right to left. Number 1, an urban worker, young African-American man, taller in height than the other men, revealing an expression of interest. Number 2, a peasant man, mid-30s, with small nose, large chin, revealing an interest in what is being said and ready to work. Number 3, Lenin, the communist leader with a look of command and strength of mind. 4, a curious young man, Caucasian man, showing both interest and apathy. And finally, 5, a strong-jawed man, Caucasian man, wearing a soldier's uniform and helmet. All the men are looking in the direction of Lenin. This is the reason the mural was torn down. Diego Rivera was born in 1886 in the city of Guanajuato, Mexico. His parents were both teachers. His mother was a devoted Catholic mestiza, which is part European and part Indian, and his father was a liberal Creole, Mexican of European descent. Picture of Diego Rivera on the left side of the screen shows Rivera in his later years. At about the age of 65, his hair is cut short, dark-colored, and wavy textured, with a small gray patch of hair above his right ear. His mouth is shaped downward. His eyes are looking upward. His facial expression shows Rivera deep in thought. The background appears to be of Diego Rivera standing outside at the bottom of a hill. Diego Rivera's art career. In 1891, at the age of 5, Rivera attended art school in Mexico. In 1896, at the age of 10, Rivera attended the San Carlos Academy of Fine Arts in Mexico and was educated in the traditional European techniques. In 1907, at the age of 21, Rivera was awarded a travel grant to study art in Europe. From 1907 until 1922, Rivera studied in Europe and befriended Picasso and Cézanne. He began painting in the Cubism style. From 1923 until his death in 1957, Rivera traveled the world painting giant murals in San Francisco, Detroit, New York, and of course, Mexico. Now let's get started. The materials you will need are transparency paper or method of transferring selected image onto watercolor paper. Watercolor paper any size over 8 by 11 inches, a pencil, one of Diego Rivera's artwork images. They're located at the end of this presentation. Glue gun and glue stick, this is optional. You do not have to purchase these items. You can basically use what is left over by the pencil markings of the transfer. Watercolor paint brushes, make sure you get soft bristle brushes. A palette, a rigid flat surface on which to arrange and mix your paint. You can use a kitchen dish. Acrylic wash paint, blue, yellow, red, and white. Now that you've selected an image, now it's time to create a duplicate image onto your watercolor paper. You can follow the link below to teach you how to transfer the image onto the watercolor paper. If you're going to use the glue gun to trace a copy of image on the watercolor paper, the results will leave a raised outline of the image. But make sure to wait 5 minutes for the image to dry. This, of course, is an optional method. You don't have to do this. You can just rely on the pencil markings left behind on the watercolor to paint. Now let's take a look at the materials and type of paint that you'll be using. Use a clean white palette for paint. Squeeze out a small amount, about a dime size, of acrylic wash paint onto your palette. Use the primary colors of blue, red, yellow, and add some white. Mix and blend any of the primary colors and the white color to make your own color combinations. Dilute the paint with water. Also, use small watercolor brushes with soft bristles. It's important to use 2 clean water containers, one for cleaning the brush and one for mixing. Have fun with this project. Begin coloring your image. Create your own colors. Acrylic wash colors are used like watercolors and blend easily with water. Gouache has a compound that causes the paint to dry with a matte finish. The result will be a rich, deep, and colorful image. One of the selections of your images is image number 1. Rivera painted this image using gouache, and the title is Man and Boy, Spanish translation, Hombre y Niño. The image displays a Mexican man with a large brown hat, white clothing, and black belt, sitting down with only the right side of his body facing the viewer. There's also a young boy standing and facing the man, dressed in a white shirt, dark brown hat, and drinking from a brown-colored vessel. They are depicted outside in a light green field. The second image is La Molendría. In English translation, the grinder. The image displays a young Mexican woman wearing a short-sleeved white dress with long black braided hair, kneeling and bending over a flat black stone, kneading dough with a rolling pin. The painting was originally painted in gouache paint on paper. The third image is La Vendedora de Pinole, the seller of pinole. The image displays a middle-aged Mexican woman wearing a short-sleeved black dress with a white hem, sitting on the ground with right knee bent up, with her right elbow leaning on the knee. Her black hair neatly combed back, and the expression on her face shows contemplation or worry. Her right foot is revealed from under her dress, and next to her foot lays a mid-size flat bowl with a large amount of cornmeal called pinole, which is a roasted ground maize used to create different foods. The final image, image number 4, is Albañil, stone mason. The image displays a Mexican man dressed in a white long-sleeved shirt, white pants, and wearing a yellow hat covering his face. The man is bent forward in the process of breaking stones with a large mallet, and he holds tightly with both his hands. Originally painted with gouache paint on paper.